Hello and welcome to the Microsoft Product Terms Update from the version 1 Software Asset Management Practice for August 2026. Hi guys, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Yep, going good.
Great. So this month's few updates this month. I'll kick things off. And first of all, I looked at all things Microsoft 365. Microsoft updated the license prerequisites table so that government G3 and G5 are now recognized as eligible prerequisites for Microsoft 365 Copilot. Why does that matter? So if you're a government customer, you previously had to map eligibility against the commercial prerequisite SKUs, and that mapping wasn't always clear, in my opinion. So this really just closes that gap. G3 and G5 customers now qualify directly, no commercial equivalent argument needed. So if you're a public sector customer and you have access to G3, G5 SKUs, then this is obviously going to be of importance to you. Also looked at some name changes. So another month, another name change or rebranding. So this revolves around Defender Experts. There's no functional or licensing change here. It's just getting the names right as a part of your internal conversations so that you're referring to the right product and that you have updated any of the associated documentation that might come with those products. So what are the changes? So Defender Experts XDR is now Defender Experts MDR. Defender Experts for hunting is now Defender, and Experts Hunting Defender Expert Suite P1 is now Defender Expert Suite, should I say, for unified customers. So nothing major to write home about here, just a little moving of the deck chairs in terms of the naming conventions. So I'll hand it over to you, William, if you want to cover off what you found this month.
Yeah, thank you. So there's three items. So the first one's SQL Server on Azure Arc, and this is clarifications really. So the extended security updates or ESU's eligibility via Azure Arc, customers with active software assurance or equivalent subscription on underlying Windows Server licenses can now explicitly acquire ESU coverage for SQL Server workloads connected through Azure Arc, and that's billed monthly. There is a software assurance continuity requirement. So essentially, coverage cannot continue after software assurance expires. And there's also a deployment scenario alignment. So wording now explicitly covers eligible workloads running on Azure VMs or connected through Azure Arc. So this removes essentially ambiguity about which deployment models qualify for ESU and hybrid benefits. And the final bit of this clarification is pay-as-you-go licensing parity. So the hourly SQL Server license rate on an Azure VM and an Arc-enabled server in a customer's own data center are identical in both environments across standard, enterprise, and web editions. So that's just a clarification on that one. Then there's also an update on Azure machine eligibility for Windows Server extended security updates. They've introduced this eligibility for Windows Server ESU and really to clarify that software assurance prerequisites apply across Azure VMs and Arc, Azure Arc connected servers and traditional on-premises licensing. So Microsoft now explicitly allows customers to acquire ESU coverage for eligible Windows server workloads running on Azure VMs and also Azure Arc connected servers. So that's on-prem, other clouds, as long as they're registered using the Azure Connected Machine Agent. So this essentially formalizes that ESUs can be purchased and billed through Azure for Arc-enabled workloads and not just Azure VMs and not only via the traditional volume licensing model. So that's sort of just extends the eligibility across environments. And the final one is a bit of a weird one. So it's Azure clarification of retirement of services and features clause for Azure services. So essentially before, the product terms just said that Microsoft could announce that there would be a retirement of a service or feature and that there would be 12 months minimum notice. The only exception to that is if there's some sort of security or legal or system performance reasons that the notice promise does not apply. The difference now is that they are explicitly naming the Azure service which they notify or have a retirement of a service or feature. So it's less ambiguity and more precise. So when you're looking through changes or retirement updates or notices, it will explicitly name the exact service that it refers to rather than just saying an Azure service. So a useful update, really, I suppose. So it's less sort of having to find out exactly what it means. And that's the three that I've got. Over to you, Dan.
Yeah, so first there was another minor update to Microsoft's responsibility use of Microsoft AI services language. This seems to be a common theme in the last couple of updates. It does reflect growing importance of clear AI governance and ensuring customer understanding and the expectations surrounding responsible AI use. Same theme appears in the privacy and security terms, where Microsoft added WebIQ as a limited access service and clarified its treatment within the privacy and security framework. This provides customers with greater visibility into how specific AI-related services are governed and where different compliance considerations may apply. Microsoft also updated the glossary, clarifying the definition of a covered product. While that may sound like a minor legal update, clearer definitions helps sort of reduce ambiguity and makes it easier for customers to understand exactly which terms apply to which products and services. Probably the most significant update I found was within the professional services. Microsoft had added language clarifications that customers are responsible for testing, deploying, maintaining, and making decisions based on recommendations or deliverables provided through professional service engagements. Microsoft also clarified ownership on certain intellectual properties created during those engagements. So the key takeaway is that Microsoft is continuing to define roles and responsibilities and making them much clearer. So that's all from me.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, William. So as always, if you've got any questions or queries off the back of today's product terms updates, feel free to reach out to us here at the Software Asset Management Practice at version 1. Until next month's update, thanks, William. Thanks, Dan, for your input, and we'll chat to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.